Okay. So I think all of you watched that video, right? How is what happens in your brain when you're learning anything? For those of you who probably joined late, I will share that video. Don't worry about it. But you understand that, right? I think this is something which most of you must have also experienced as children. When you do anything that you love and you're practicing something, say cricket, right? I think most of you must have played cricket as a child, and you keep practicing cricket every day. You're practicing cricket, and then eventually hitting sixes or making a century becomes so easy for you. It just becomes second nature. You don't even have to think on how I need to hold the bat, or how I need to what is the angle. I don't really understand cricket, but what is the angle you need to bend at, all of that, it just becomes second nature. Or whether it is skates or anything, initially you will fall, there'll be a lot of problems, but then you just know it. It's in your muscle memory. Your body language just naturally becomes that way, right? Is this something most of you relate to? Anything that you've been practicing for too long just becomes second nature to you. Whether it's coding, right? Even when you code for the very first time, I think generally your first code is always hello world. So for the very first time, even when you're typing on the laptop, it's so difficult to get the key and so difficult to find anything, right? But after you practice for so long, and after you've been typing for so long, you just know where everything is. It becomes so natural to you, right? So I think this is what I hope it connects with you. So that is one point. Also, along with that, firstly, before we come on to this point, right, like how does this actually happen? And even after we practice so long, what is the issue, right? There's obviously something that we're trying to solve, right, as a country, as and that's the reason we're there in this workshop. So let's go back and first see what is happening. Where is the gap? Is there anything that we're doing wrong, or everything is fine? What is happening, right? So I think everybody over here is an engineer in the making. You're learning to become an engineer. Every day you wake up in the morning and you get on to learning some new skills, right? So just to give you some numbers, you we have 1.5 million engineers each year, right? That's the largest amount any country produces. That's the highest engineer ratio which any country produces, right? Now, as per, because obviously all of you are engineers, statistics, maths is something everybody understands. So as per binomial distribution, at least 16% of any population is smart. So the same applies even for the engineering student population, right? So at least 16% of the population is smart. They are special, right? They are intelligent. But where are they still lost, right? Like, we don't really have breakthrough technology contributions coming in from student population. There's no disruptive tech startups. We don't even have like top research papers getting published in emerging technologies, say whether it is AI, IoT, whatever it is, blockchain. We don't really have a lot of top research papers or technology which gets adopted in the industry coming from this student population, right? And what is leading to all of this? All of you are there on the call, right? What every day you wake up in the morning and you're going to college, you're learning a lot of skills. But what is it that it is leading to this gap? You're still not able to contribute anything breakthrough from this student engineering population. So the primary thing is that whatever you're learning, right? Every day you wake up in the morning, you're learning, you're practicing coding, but everything is outdated. The teaching style is outdated, all the coursework is boring, the method of teaching, everything is just outdated. Hence, it does not align with what is happening in the industry. So coming back to the cricket example, right? So every day in the morning you wake up, you play cricket, you're practicing cricket. Every day you're playing cricket for 2 hours, 3 hours. Your parents are tired of you. But only few of these become professional world class players, right? Like, you have Dhoni, you have Virat, all of them have also played cricket in gully cricket, right? But what is the difference? Why is it that some of them do not become world class professional players, while some of them become these, like Dhoni, Virat, Sachin, they become world class cricket players. They go down in history. They have a skill which nobody else has, right? So what is the difference between these two? Now the same student population, right, the same student population of engineering, when they go abroad, suddenly they become smart, suddenly they're creating cutting edge technology, they're becoming startup founders, they're publishing research papers, everything is happening, right? What happened suddenly? What did, when they were traveling, what just suddenly happened, right? So the primary thing that changed is the environment. Same with cricket. If you see the difference between what led to somebody become Dhoni or Virat or Sachin and what led to somebody just being able to play gully cricket, is the environment. So the reason Dhoni and Virat are able to become world class players is because of the professional environment they got. They knew that this is the ground, this is the professional ground I have to play in. I have to wear professional equipment, or not equipment, but all the dressing that you have. You have to wear pads, you have to wear helmet, you have to wear gloves. There is a particular way you play in. It's not, there is a skill attached to it, right? It's not just tukka ki okay aaj 6 lag gaya, kal 6 nahi laga, right? So everything is professional, there is a particular process to it, there is a particular methodology to it, right? So this is primarily what changes even when the same engineering student goes abroad, whether he gets placed abroad or whether he goes to any foreign college for MS or anything. So even if you take, forget abroad, like even if you take a local example in India, like a national example, if you put any normal student from a normal college to IIT, which is the best environment in India, you will still see that the outcome of the same student changes. It changes drastically, right? Does, how many of y'all agree to this? If a student from a normal college, if a student from a normal college goes to an IIT, do you think his outcome will change? Okay, I can see a lot of emojis, so I think most of you agree to that. Right. Even if you take Sundar Pichai, for example, right? Sundar Pichai would not have become what he is today if he was only in India. So Sundar Pichai is the result of a right person. Obviously, it's, he has his skill, he has the passion, the hard work to put in, and he's also put in the right environment. He actually got the best environment possible, which is Google, right? So that's the reason he is what he is today. In, if you put anybody, if you put a good person in a good environment, a good environment will just make a good person better, and a better person become the best. So Sundar Pichai, for example, he was already better, and then he just became, he got the best environment and he became the best, right? So finally, a person's outcome matters on just two things. Firstly, he himself, how is he, what is his skill, what is his mindset, mainly, not even the skill, what is his mindset, what is his attitude, and the environment he's put into. And now, like we said, right, not everybody can get a job at Google, not everybody can afford to go abroad. Not like, same with cricket, not everybody gets to get into that professional environment and all of that, right? But at least in case of software, should this difference be there even in this digital world? Earlier we understand that if you couldn't go abroad, you had no way that you could understand how they work and how do they, all the professional tools and methods that they use. But when you have internet, when everything is so digital, why should this divide still exist? Right? So to give you a real example, Nikhil, he's there on the call. Nikhil, the founder of Shunya and IoT, he moved to China 10 years back from Mumbai, and what he realized there is that the key reason to China's growth, the vast expansion of economy China has been able to make, is mainly because they had a brilliant environment which was also available to everybody, not just for few selected people. They had a brilliant environment available to everybody, and that's the primary reason they could make such brilliant stars out of the country and just expand the country so much. So instead of just keeping it, once he learned this in China, he came back to make this available to all, right? So because at least in this digital world, this can be made available to everybody, even in India, right? So office hours is our humble try to make this environment available to all, so that everybody at least has access to these professional tools and they can upgrade themselves and get this environment which changes their outcome completely. In fact, in India, you have the most adaptable crowd. You just put them in the right environment, and you have the most hardworking crowd. You just put them in the right environment, and you will see stars coming out of India. So everything that is happening currently, all the gaps you see currently, is mainly because nobody has access to that environment. Nobody is aware about such kind of environment or tools that are needed, right? So this is what we're trying to do with officers. It's a try from our end. Of course there can be gaps, but we are very very open to learn, and we really want to see this change, right? So it's a try from our end. Now, even before we move ahead, what does actually make this environment, right? Like, we're talking about environment, professional environment. What does actually what is this environment, right? So environment comprises of three things: the people, the processes involved, and the tools. So any professional environment only has these three things. Like I said, right, we have people, we have processes, and we have tools. So again, to give you some examples, we as an OS startup plus a community, we manage a lot of how many projects do you think we manage, right? As in, we have an OS startup which is like decent, like it's nominally difficult, and then you also have a community that we run, which is IoT. How many projects do you think we really manage, right? Can you give me like any vast guess, right? How many projects do you think we manage? You can give any number, right? Like, I don't know, two, three, four, five. You can put it in the chat. How many projects do you think we manage? 100, okay. 50, that's a lot. Six, okay. Okay, all right. So let's take the bigger number, right? Who gave the biggest number? The 100 was the biggest number I could see. 100 plus, Abhishek, okay. All right. So we actually manage 1,000 plus projects and so many users, like 1,000 plus users. This is like every month we have, this is all, we actually have all these programs run every week, every month now. So these are the number of projects we actually manage. And now, how many people do you think manage these projects? Right? So you see that there are so many projects. How many people do you think manage these projects? How many people do you think we are there in the team? 10. Oh, everybody's saying 10. Okay. 50, 100. Okay. Pratik is always on the higher end. 50. Okay. All right. So I think to break the chase, we are actually just four people. It's just four people who manage all of this. Now you may feel that, oh, these are some exceptional people. Maybe Einstein is teaching them something. Maybe they're coming from Ivy League. But it's not the people. It's not that the four people are exceptional. It's Nikhil picked three people, freshers, right from college, normal college, not even from IITs, normal Indian colleges. And it is not the people. It is the magic of processes and tools using which he was able to create this OS company with three freshers right from college, right? So now you understand the, right, like Abhishek said, you understand the magic of processes, tools, and automation using these processes and tools. So it's not the people, it is the environment and the smart tools that are put in their hand which makes this difference. Now, to give you some brief of this startup, right? We've been talking about this OS startup, so let's just quickly get into that. But Shunya OS is an AIoT startup. I'm not going to go into details of this. Last year, we were able to build one of the world's fastest AI and IoT face recognition based device on a very tiny, like a $10 board, which had the entire IoT stack and the entire AI stack, right? It's launching in 2021. Nikhil, because of this unique perspective he brought in with just three freshers, right? He got selected as an arm innovator, just 40 among the 40 arm innovators in the world. So, like I said, right, a lot of people think it is the technology behind it or it's the people, but we know it is just the processes and tools. So, like Abhishek also rightly pointed out, it's we use the latest tools and we automate as much as possible. And even after knowing all of this, we are very very open to continuously improve. We can still have the something new, something better coming on, into the industry, right? So just adapt to it, adopt that, and make that involve, just mix that up, and then use those and improve your processes and tools even further, right? So I feel sometimes in India, because we've not really seen this happen, so we feel we don't really appreciate the these processes and tools. We don't completely understand the value of processes and tools. So generally we're very result oriented, like, like, oh, just quickly give me something to solve. Okay, I've come to the result. Like right from childhood, that's how we've trained, right? Who came first in the class, who was able to do the hackathon fast, who was able to complete the assignment fast. So everybody's, but nobody really checks whether the assignment was done well, whether the code was written well. Okay, it's okay if you were not able to get to the result. Was it optimized? Did you follow modular coding? Did you, was all of that followed, right? Did, was the code industry compliant? Was it sectioned well? Nobody looks into that. Everybody only looks into, okay, you got the result. And that's the reason everybody only focuses on the outcome instead of actually valuing processes and tools and being patient with it. Of course, when you're working in a certain in a certain way using these tools and processes, you need to be a little patient, because obviously initially you're not going to suddenly get outcome, right? It's a new thing that you're getting used to. Same with this workshop, it's a new thing that you're getting used to. It will take some time, so you're not going to directly get an outcome, right? So this is primarily what we need to change, or bring a change in the mindset at least, right? Again, to give you like a short story on tools, I think most of you must have, all of you have read about the freedom struggle and the history, right? We know that. So I'll just quickly give you a short story, right? It's morning, but I'll just quickly give you a short summary. Now we know the freedom struggle, right? You had foreigners come in and everybody was ready to fight. Now you have foreigners and you have Indian fighters, Indian warriors, Veer, India ke Veer, right? Now Indians by default are very hardworking, right? I will hit him the hardest. I'm going to work. I'm going to get up. I'm going to work out in the morning. Right? I'll do 100 push-ups and then I will go and hit him. I'll hit him with all my power. Right now, everybody is prepared. Everybody in India is prepared. I'm going to hit him the hardest. Let's see. Nobody can beat us. And then you have foreigners come in with no practice, but with a gun. What did they change? They didn't work very hard, but they innovated on tools. They brought in a gun. What happened to all the power and all the energy which Indian warriors showed? Everything went down in vain. Right? So what we learn from this story is that it's not just hard work, it's not just showing a lot of valor, it's not showing I can work the hardest or I can hit the hardest, I can code fastest. It it's actually also optimizing it. Of course you also need to work hard, but that's a brownie point, that's a plus point that you're working in. But you also need to use smart tools, you need to innovate on these tools that will improve your outcome even further. This is what we're trying to bring in and bring awareness about, right? Now once we know, we understand, right? We understand that processes and tools is important, right? So I think normally we would feel, okay, now I have something very very uncommon, I know something very different, let me keep it to myself. Nobody even gives, like, you is, if somebody gets to know about a hot question that's going to come in exam, nobody is going to go and tell that to everybody in the class, right? Or probably will go and tell it to some of your friends. Nobody says it. It's going to go to it's going to go with you to your grave, right? Nobody, you're not going to tell that to anybody. But we think it's not about keeping to yourself. When we say that we're bringing about something different, we're Shunya and IoT, right? And IoT, it's a disruptive start. We don't really feel that it's about the technology, right? And even if there's something new, it's not just about keeping it to yourself. And when a startup wins, some of you may feel like this is your USP, you need to keep it to yourself. There has to be some differentiating factor, there has to be a secret sauce. But what we think that a startup wins because of a new thought that it brings in, and not only because of the technology it brings in, right? So Shunya OS is brings in this new thought that we want to grow by sharing and not just by keeping things to ourselves. And when we grow, everybody else also grows. In fact, when they grow, we grow along with them. In fact, the vice versa, right? As others grow, we grow with them. That's the new thought that we're trying to bring in, and just make it available to everybody as well, instead of just keeping to ourselves, right? That's a very old template that you have one person winning in. Why? Let's win together as a country, right? So this is the new thought. Now we know that we know these processes, we know these tools, but we can't directly put it all to all of you engineering, all of you students, right? You're very, very fresh, probably you're from another mindset, you're doing something, and then suddenly you can't just someday wake somebody up and be like, okay, now from today you need to do this way, right? It maybe you don't even need that, maybe you do things in a very different way, right? So we are okay, maybe we don't really understand it, let's first understand what students want. So we did a lot of survey calls with a lot of different club leads, just to understand what are students currently doing when right from first year, right? What do they really do to become professionals? So generally, like, students do a lot of different activities. I think there's a lot of chaos over there, and hence we designed these catalyst programs just to accelerate this journey towards becoming professionals. So they are all innovative, they are all empowering, but we're not saying this is only for you. It's not, we're not trying like, okay, we're very great and we're trying to help you, and we are like angels or saints, right? When we're trying to help you, we win in it too, right? So it's a win-win situation. Now all of these programs are industry style training, right? Everything has to be industry ready, it has to be industry problem statements that you're solving in an industry infrastructure, everything is hands on. And even after all of this, it is in a time optimized way, right? So you can't spend a year only learning some professional tools or even like anything professional, right? So everything is optimized on time, so you can learn all of this but still learn it quick. Okay, so these are one of some catalyst programs. I'll quickly go through it, right from basic data structures algorithms to pre-office, what you're doing currently. Pre-office is one of the catalyst programs, which is actually very primary because it transitions you from like a good coder to a professional coder. Then you have projects like, if you want to do industry projects in IoT and AI. Then if you want to do core projects, go even deep, right? If you're very like nerdy and you want to very techie geeky, then if you want to go deep into projects, then you can do core projects. If you want to deploy with industry as well, right? Work with industry mentors, deploy with them, work with us. So that is one thing that we have, right? So, right, coming, I think too much information maybe tomorrow, today, early morning. Maybe you didn't have breakfast as well, but anyway. So I'll just quickly summarize on what you're going to learn in this workshop and what you can expect from this workshop, right? So this workshop familiarizes you with professional tools like DevOps methods and tools, right? So you have DevOps, project management, code refactoring, which is industry compliant coding. How is it done? Communication, all of these different things, and it familiarizes with all of this in a hands-on way. But it does not make you an expert at it. Like, it does not make you an expert at DevOps, it does not make you an expert at project management. It is familiarizing you with it. As you practice it, as you get more resources to practice it, you then become an expert at it, right? Currently you're getting an awareness of how it is, but you're not just getting a webinar kind of an awareness, you're getting a hands-on experience of how it is done, right, in a problem solving method. Now, along with this, we don't, like, of course, this is a second workshop. We had the first one in the first one last weekend, but so we don't promise that we will not make mistakes, right? Maybe you even saw me fumbling and all of that, but we promise that we don't promise that we will not make mistakes. But if we do, we will surely make up for it, right? So that is something we will promise on. But because it's a second workshop, if there is anything, please bear with us. But we promise that we will make it as good as we can, right? So we promise on that. And in fact, for all of you who stick to these 3 days and complete it, I will give you like a list of all resources so you can continue practicing, and some hacks, you can resources to continue practice and become an expert at all of these methods and processes that we're talking about, right? So I think this is what I have from my end. let's just start with the first thing. Before that, I'll quickly give you of how this workshop starts, right? Before I hand it over to Ramya, who will come in and tell you about DevOps, introduce you to it. But this workshop is actually designed in a little different way. It's not, in fact, a very different way, but it's not like you come in and you listen to a lecture and then you have somebody doing it on video and then you're doing it, right? You would have at 9 a.m. Of course, today I was there to introduce you, but generally you would have 9 a.m. You would have you would have a mentor come in and introduce the topic to you, tell you what is the reason you even have to learn this, right? There has to be some reason. Why are you even doing it? So you will have a mentor come in, introduce the topic to you, and then give you module links. And the module links are arranged in a way, right? So I will show that to you once Ramya ends her call. But basically, the mentor will come and introduce the topic to you. You will get a module link. The module link has all the resources you need to learn that topic. So you learn the topic. It's a very maybe if some of you who watch the 20-hour method, but that's the reason we do this as understand, summarize, practice, which is the USP method. So you first understand the topic from all the resources that are given, then you summarize it. Summarize in this case is optional because it's like a corporate setup, right? So you don't really summarize it. But if you want to summarize, you want to make notes for future, you can summarize it, and then finally you practice it. So the maximum amount of learning that happens is in this practice stage, where you're actually hands on trying to do DevOps or project management or whatever it is, right? So this is how you would be doing. So you don't continuously have to be there on the lecture and emulate somebody. You would get modules, you try it yourself. If you're facing errors, you have tech mentors, you have an issue for that, you come in, you go there and you type in and you tag the mentor, and they will come in and reply back to you and solve your problem, right? In fact, even if you don't want to do it during the day, even after the introduction session, you are like a night owl, you like to do work at night, your brain starts working at night, you can do it at night. That's okay, but just do it before Sunday so you can present it in front of corporates, because we have corporates from Microsoft and, okay, I don't quite remember, but we have students. I think we have Microsoft, Wipro, IBM, some corporates coming in from those companies, so you can present in front of them, right? So you only have to attend these introduction calls and then complete modules at your own pace at whatever time you like, right? So today you would now have one introductory call from Ramya, which is on DevOps, and then you would have another call at 2 p.m. around for 15-20 minutes from Divyam for project management, right? Similarly for tomorrow as well. Okay, so this is how the module is, and I think I will. It's been too long. I'll just quickly give it to Ramya, and she can introduce DevOps to you. Yes. All right. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much.